Every one of my clients at one point or another wants the easy fix. Sean, what do I have to do? Tell me what clothing pieces that I have to wear in order to improve my image. And what I want to ask you is there a possibility of a prerequisite? In other words, things that you have to take care of first before you start dressing well. Because after all, we've all seen guys who dress technically well, but it just doesn't hold the same impact as it should. They instead come off as try-hard, overcompensating, and really just having the exact opposite effect as what your clothing should do for you. And in reverse, we've all seen guys who dress kind of well, but for some reason they're able to rock this clothing, they're able to rock this style so well that you don't even question it and you actually perceive them as stylish when in reality they're really not doing anything special or out of the ordinary. So what's the difference? What characteristics does that already well-dressed man lack that is cheapening his efforts, making it look like he's overcompensating, and rendering his style efforts completely ineffective? Well, gentlemen, lucky for you, I have spent countless hours and so much time split testing this exact topic. I have experimented with all of my clients, keeping up with them years after we part, and really making the connections of the non-clothing characteristics that either make or break my clients in the long run. So gentlemen, I present to you the 3 things that you have to have in order for good clothing to work. So first and foremost is posture. Okay, you have to have good posture if you're going to be wearing good clothing. The two can't be separate. They must come together. And the reason why, first of all, just on a technical level, is that if your posture is off while wearing good clothing, especially well-tailored clothing, if your posture is off, your clothing is going to pull and lay in a way that does not flatter the pieces that you've chosen to put on your body. Okay? Some guys I've seen just spend so much money on their clothing only to have bad posture. And as you can see, this for example, a suit is not supposed to look like that. There's just a little bit too much room here in the chest. It doesn't lay right. This suit should look exactly how it does now. Okay, so this is perfect posture. Maybe not perfect, I'm sure it can always be better, but this is the posture that this suit calls for, okay? It lays perfectly on my chest. It just presents itself the way that the manufacturer and the designer intended it to, okay? So if you're spending all this money, all this time, all this effort on this quality clothing and your posture is something like this, your clothes aren't gonna look good, you know? That's on a technical level. Okay, let's move to the psychological level, which is really what this video is dedicated to. Anything but perfect posture suggests a lack of confidence. And confidence and good clothing, they come together. They are rarely, if ever, separate. This is what gives the model walk its name, okay? So if you study runway shows, if you even just look at one runway show, you'll see that the way that these models are walking is just very confident, okay? They have the perfect posture. Parts of their spine is erect, parts of their arms are let loose. They have this science down to the T, okay? That's what makes a good model a good model. What makes a good model is not how good they look, okay? You're thinking of Victoria's Secret models, okay? And that's one of the few models where physical attraction in the face really has anything to do with you getting the job. A real model understands the importance of posture. And to be honest, I can't think of anyone who looks more confident wearing good clothing than runway models. A lack of confidence also suggests that you're overcompensating for something. You know, so if you do something that suggests a lack of confidence within yourself, and especially when you're wearing good clothing, the viewer is going to subconsciously scan you and think, what is this guy lacking? What is this guy missing? What is this guy trying to make up for so desperately with his clothing? Number 2 is voice. You cannot have a weak man voice when wearing a good outfit. There is nothing worse than when I see a guy in a quality outfit. I approach him to pay my respects as usual. I say, hey man, that's an awesome outfit. I just had to tell you that. He turns around and he says, thanks. Gentlemen, this does not fly. This cannot happen, okay? Just like with the posture, if you open your mouth and you sound like that, if you sound like your voice is coming from your head versus deep in your belly, deep in your diaphragm, then people are going to wonder, what is this guy insecure about? What is this guy hiding? Does this guy really have any value to offer, or is he just overcompensating with his style of dress? Most of the time, a realization occurs in people's heads when they hear a voice like this. A light bulb goes off and they think, oh, that's why you dress well. Gentlemen, I don't want you to be that guy. I don't want you to be that guy, okay? So you could watch this whole channel. You could take a one-on-one with me, okay? You could learn everything that is cool to wear, everything that you should be wearing, even if it's for your body type, for your personality. We can get it all down. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the type of voice that matches your confidence in clothing, then you need to work on your voice before you start to buy more clothes. This is why vocal tonality is such a huge part in my one-on-one coaching, because I deeply understand that you can't have a weak-ass voice if you're going to wear amazing clothing. And guys, listen, if you're gonna be wearing these outfits that actually boost your air of masculinity, you need to have a voice that matches it. Otherwise, it's just gonna come off as incongruent. What is incongruence? Incongruence is when your thoughts, words, and actions are not aligned. They are not perfectly aligned, okay? So in this case, your actions are going to equal your clothing, okay? Because it's the act of putting on clothes, it's the act of fashion, it's an act, right? And your thoughts are going to equal your voice. Okay, because if you have a strong, dominant, masculine voice, well, that's going to say a lot about what's going on in your head. That's going to say a lot about your thoughts, okay? If you have a weak man's voice, that's, of course, again, going to say a lot about your insecurities. It's going to say a lot about where your head's at, and it's going to tell a lot about you as a man. When you speak with a higher, softer, meeker voice, this sound exemplifies unconfident, not sure of yourself, not a leader, insecurity, and weakness, which is the exact opposite of your actions, the exact opposite of your clothing. It is precisely when these two things, a man's actions and a man's thoughts, are not aligned, that people, especially women, start to sense incongruence. And if you've ever seen a guy in what seems like a good outfit, which should be garnering him respect, yet he still gets clowned on, it's not because of the outfit itself, it's because the incongruence level is low. And the viewers sense that something is just not right. The spotlight suddenly shines on you, and people are now looking for your faults and trying to take you down. And listen, I totally understand how dramatic and maybe even exaggerated that this can sound, but this is what's actually going on a deep psychological level when it comes to clothing. If you do something that signifies that you have low confidence, then the effect that it puts out there is going to be completely different than what was originally intended. And I do not want this for you. This is why in my one-on-one coaching sessions, we go over not just clothing, but everything under the image umbrella, vocal tonality, posture, everything, including the things that need to be taken care of first. And finally, number 3 is good hair. Now, this has so much less to do with confidence or psychology, and really just more to do with you understanding as a man how to put the whole look together. It's that attention to detail that the entire look really gives the viewer. There's nothing worse than a guy with an amazing outfit and just very unkempt hair, or even worse, some lame-ass dad haircut. It also shows that you didn't just have your girlfriend choose your outfit or your clothing. It shows that you as a man understand the entire appearance, the entire aesthetic, all the attention to detail in presenting yourself as a well-groomed, well-dressed man. This says a lot. Sure, the clothing does so much for you. Sure, the hair alone does so much for you. Sure, the good grooming does so much for you. But it's when you put all these things together, it's that full package that really just moves people and really draws them in to you. And listen, I know what some of you are going to say, okay? What about bald guys? They don't have any hair. Well, check it out. Listen, some of the most stylish guys I have ever seen are bald. Bald equals good hair as long as you look good bald. Okay? There's a huge difference between this bald and this bald. If you have that certain type of facial structure that just works for a bald head, well, then congratulations, you have good hair. For everyone else, like myself, who probably wouldn't look that good bald, we need to concentrate on regular haircuts, being well groomed, having an up-to-date hairstyle, and so much more, right? It's a pain, but at the same time, hair is an art form and you must respect it. When you do not have good hair, again, that is a level of incongruence with your good clothing, and it's gonna make all your efforts with clothing that much less effective. And those are the three things that you have to have before you embark on your clothing journey. And let me just say, I have seen my personal clients who have 2 out of 3 of these qualities. They're just missing one, plus their good clothing, and their good clothing still takes a dive. Okay, so you must concentrate on getting all 3 of these right, and then we can bring up your style game. That's it for today's video. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe being the most important, just because we are gonna have amazing videos coming your way on subjects that really have never been covered in a man's clothing journey. So make sure to follow Dressed on all possible accounts, and you will be seeing the most cutting edge information on men's style and appearance that you ever have before. Thanks, guys. See you.